What's going on, guys? It's a beautiful day, I'm doing great. I hope you are as well. And what I want to get into with today is emotions. Let's dive a bit into your emotions in particular and controlling them. This is something I feel like a lot of people can't do, especially on the male side. I feel like I know a lot of guys that have no idea how to keep their emotions intact, and they're just angry people all the time. They're just miserable and just talking about how bad everything is. That's a great way to make people not like you, by the way. That's a great recipe to become the most disliked person in the room. So what you got to do, my friend, whatever that anger is, man, whatever is fueling that negative emotion, you gotta find the source of that, bro. You gotta do what you can to reverse that. Because, not only does it, not make people like you, but, you never feel good when you're negative all the time, You never feel good when you're just angry at everything and everybody. And it's especially a problem when you use the emotion on other people. That is the biggest issue. Using your emotions, your negative ones, on other people, like being angry at other people. Look, bro, if you're dealing with something and you've got something on your mind and something to say, speak about it in a peaceful manner. Don't just be like, oh, I fucking hate you, I've had the worst day ever, yada yada blah 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? Don't just go to town on somebody with all your emotions, all your bad emotions that you've kept inside because you're having a shitty day and you just, you're going through it, Don't put all that onto somebody else, because somebody else might have a lot of other things on their plate, and hearing that from you and just being yelled at and shouted at just might fuck them up, It might really hurt them, and you don't need to do that, You don't want to be the person that hurt somebody unintentionally, and then after you've done it, you feel bad about it. It never feels good, I know all of us at some point in our lives have done it. Not intentionally, I hope. I'm looking at you guys. I'm hoping. I'm praying that none of you guys have done this intentionally. I know, sometimes in life, you're really in the mud and you've got something on your brain that you just can't get out. And someone says one thing that triggers you, and you spill out everything, and it comes out the wrong way, and you get in a big fight, it never comes out good. You gotta talk about these things, The best thing you can do to control your emotions is to talk about them, dude. Whenever you're feeling something, don't let it sit inside. You gotta get that out of you, bro. It's like a disease. It's a virus. And if you let it sit there longer and you don't treat it, it's going to spread to the rest of you. And it's going to make you feel a lot worse. I feel like even when you're dealing with something like that and you're not in a good spot, your energy levels are low. Your brain fog is more intense, you don't want to do anything, you don't want to talk to anybody. So the moment one person says the wrong thing, or what shouldn't be the wrong thing, you snap on them. You turn on them just like that, and you say something that you wish you wouldn't have later on. Plus, it gives you, when you do that, it just leaves you an opportunity to live with a regret, This could be your best friend that you say the wrong thing to and get upset at. And because of that one fight that you guys had, because you were angry that one time, you might not be friends anymore. Same goes with relationships, If you guys are dealing with something together and you're going through it right now, you guys are in a rough patch, and one of you says the wrong thing to the other person, that could be all it takes to end your relationship. You gotta think about what you say, bro. You gotta think about the words that are coming out of your mouth and the emotion you're expressing them through before you say them. Because the wrong choice of words could mean a pretty hefty loss on your end, or somebody else's, If it's on your end, it's one thing. It's gonna suck, and it's your responsibility to rebuild that. But if it's on somebody else's behalf, then that's, come on, dude. We gotta be better than that. And it also just comes from a place of just a weak mindset, If you are regularly erupting on people like that, you, odds are, don't have a very strong mindset. You might be a weak-minded individual. I feel like a majority of us I hope, well, I don't want to say majority of us, because that I feel like I'm selecting out the people who are like this. You know, not everybody knows what to do in these situations, and I understand that. But there are people out there that know how to control their emotions, and that's probably because they talk about them. I understand that talking about your emotions isn't always going to solve your problems, but it does make a big difference, and it helps you clear your brain so much more. And if you don't want to talk about what you're feeling inside to somebody else, grab yourself a journal and write it out, bro. You know, talk about your emotions. The best thing you can the best thing you can do to not put your emotions onto somebody else in a poor manner is to get them out on your own, you know? Get them out in a healthy way. Get them out in a way that doesn't involve you losing a friendship or ending your relationship, you know? Do it in a smart way that you've thoroughly thought out. And, you know, we don't always thoroughly think when we're feeling some sort of negative emotion like that. But the best thing you can do is to take a step back and physically, like, think about what you're about to say and catch yourself, you know? It's a hard skill to practice, but it's something I feel like, especially me, have gotten a lot better at. And it's a big piece to why I feel like things, especially like regarding the relationship with my mom, have gotten a lot better. Because, like, if I'm going through something, the first person to probably deal with me going through something is her, because, you know, she's there. She's living in the same place as me. So it's like, if anyone's going to get hit with it first, it's going to be her. And I feel like I've actually had to, like, remind myself before I'm about to say something to just, like, if I've got nothing good to say and it's going to be fueled with bad emotion, keep it inside, man, you know, like, because you're going to regret it later. It's going to feel like shit. And you don't want to feel like shit, you know? You don't want to have one thing that somebody you're close to, in this case my mom, like, she might not be saying something that's intended to make me upset, but I might take it that way, you know? I can't have one thing she says ruin my whole day. I could be having a great day up until that point, you know? Something might have happened that could be messing with my head a little bit, and then she's just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and I can't control myself, and I say something to her that I end up regretting, you know? Moral of the story, man, like, erupting on people and, like, using negative emotions like anger on other people is a horrible, horrible thing, man. Because not only is it bad for them to deal with, but it feels bad for you, you know? I hope that you have some sympathy and you feel like shit if you've done that, you know? If you've done that to somebody, I hope you don't feel good after that. Because you shouldn't feel good after that. Because doing that is wrong, man. Like, using any negative emotions on anybody is inherently bad. And I hope you all know that and understand that. But that's my little reminder for all of you to take in for today, you know? If you're going through it right now and someone says something to you that they might not mean to upset you, and you take it in the wrong manner, don't react badly, man. Just cool off. Go take a walk, you know? Go away from them. If they've said something to you that's upset you, walk away, you know? Don't be in the same presence of them. And you got to let them know that you can't be in the same presence as them as well. If they've said something to upset you, like, get away from the situation. Genuinely, it makes a big difference. Just walking away and getting yourself under control, so you can later either discuss it or write about it somewhere, or just get it out somehow, you know? But yeah, just wanted to give y'all that little reminder on the importance of that. So, stay blessed.